for more calls, and we get an assessment of how our performance is locally. And also you meet other travel writers, tour operators, and just generally people who want to look for somewhere to go and cruise. So it was a wonderful experience. We tried to show videos. We have a running video every day. We have our own booth, and we try to disseminate as much information as possible to visitors to our booth. And I can say our booth was very busy, especially on the Wednesday when we had an oil down. We had one of our celebrity chefs, and I don't want to forget that, Miss Yvette Lacrette, our celebrity chef. She came from Miami. I can't thank that lady enough. Our booth was humming we did oil down. And those who missed it was sorry afterwards because of the discussions that emanated from that. But I don't want to lose this table because I took photos of our table because we tried to market some of the local produce. And our table would have been blessed to look like this. We had just a few products, and afterwards we did a postmortem and we said we must have more. So we brought the spices, the cinnamon, the clove, the nutmeg, the bay leaf, and so on. We didn't bring all of the 10. I wish we could do. I understand we have 10 spices. I believe there are a little more. But I believe there are more. But look, usually we say that. So, one, we have to research our spices. We're the Isle of Spice. We must promote that. Secondly, we have to bring all of it so that people can see. But people really came a lot for our cinnamon and our cloves and our nutmegs. But I like to see this because we promote a rum tour, for example. That was one of the packaging we did under consultancy from somebody with years of experience with Carnival Cruise Lines, and it is getting very good reviews. And one of the I'm trying to remember his name now, Goldstein. I don't remember his first name. He's one of the head people in the Carnival Cruise Lines, and he came here and he tasted one of the rum and he said, "Minister, I hope you brought my rum for me. I love Grenada. I love the rum." Now, he couldn't remember the name, and I wasn't sure what we gave to him, so I have to do the research. But the thing is, if we take those sample bottles for you, it would help us market and make our table look grander, and we really do. I must say our team is small, the smallest. I guess we probably are the smallest island. Maybe we're bigger than St. Kitts, but our table is the smallest and is the sparsest. And I think something like that, things that we export and things that we can sell to visitors. And I'm sending a message to you. Let us help you market your product. That is what we do when we go there. We spend hours from morning, and the team there can tell you, I sit with them, I talk about it, I meet with the cruise lines people. That is what we go out there to do. So those of you who have samples, let's talk. Let's see how we can help market, because our funds are limited. We pretty much buy what we go with. But if we good business people, we would know that marketing is priceless. So if we can market for you, we usually help with paying for the shipping, but we need a better partnership than that. As a matter of fact, I always hitch my wagon to the Jamaicans because they have really taken cruising and tourism to another level. And so we don't want to reinvent the wheel. We're learning from them. And, they're business people. They participate physically. They go in some of the shows, and they also, those who cannot come, they send. So we market our beautiful Lake Granatang Lake with our Mona Monkey and our unique frogs and so on. We market our Great Grandans Beach. But you know what always wins? The people. The people. So I want to talk about that a little bit later on, but just to set the stage, we met with maybe 90% of the 21 cruise lines, and we discussed a number of things. We were very interested in knowing the new calls we're going to get, bearing in mind that it takes about 18 months to 2 years for scheduling. So what we talk about now, in 2019, end of 2019, you will hear me talking about 2021, 2022, or the winter season of 2020. It will not be the winter season. Primarily, it would not be the winter season of 2019 going into early 2022. So we have had commitments for quite a number of cruise calls. I'll call those that are, more outstanding. Norwegian Cruise Lines, they will do one of the ships that has never been, we call it an inaugural call, of Norwegian Epic in December of 2019. So although I was speaking 2020 and 21, 22, that one has a passenger capacity of 4,100, and it has a crew capacity of 1,722. So do the maths. We'll be having close to 6,000 people who could potentially come to our shores. And we're also talking now with them not only of entertaining the visitors, but the crews matter. Because the crews, when they get an experience, they can share it with other passengers and encourage people to come to our shores. With Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, we have in 2019, the winter which starts in 2019, we have 19 calls expected. In 2020, we'll be getting 29 calls, so an increase of by 10, which is significant for us. Carnival, we'll remember some years ago, Carnival pulled out. We have been courting Carnival because they're the biggest cruise lines. They have another of sub lines that work with them. I think maybe something like 9 or more. And they have committed to starting back pretty big with us from January 2021 to April 2022. They'll be doing 12 calls. And their capacity is 2,656 passengers, and the crew capacity is 920. We'll be getting 12 of those calls, and depending on how we play our game, the numbers will certainly increase. So they'll be looking at us 2019, 2020, and planning for 2022, 23, and ahead. This is where they are planning. MSC Cruise Lines, in the winter of 2021 to 2022, they'll be doing an increase of 10 calls for us. And we also engage Virgin Voyages, which is linked with the Virgin Airlines, but not managed by them. They are looking at including us in their itinerary. They have just started into cruise. So they'll be doing the shorter cruise initially and, working their way through. But they have committed to look at Grenada for 2021, 2022. So we're happy for that. So these are some of the expected. I have another expected one which I'll speak to at the end of this. But we always ask them. These cruise ships they do surveys from the clientele. They do a pre-visit survey somewhere along the way, and they do a post. So the pre-visit, they usually call that appeal. How does Grenada appeal to you? And the post one is the satisfaction that you get. And the appeal usually is fed by the knowledge that they have about the destination. Because if you've never been, then it's what you hear. I want to go to Grenada. And for example, Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, the appeal was 7.8. But when they did the post in terms of satisfaction, it went up almost to 8.9, which they said is a high rating out of 10, 8.9. And it tells us something. One, the lesson we took back was we need to market a little more. So that was one of the things we asked the FCCA to look at doing with us digital marketing to their clientele so that more people will know about Grenada. And several of them have committed to either looking at what we have that they can market for us or sending teams, farm teams, to come and look at what we have and video what they think would appeal to the clients. So that was one of the very important things. So in terms, the other review had to do with friendliness. Anybody could guess what the rating was? That's what I expected. But it's 9 out of 10, and they say it's one of the highest for the region. So that's very good for us, and I told them by the next time I met with them, it will be 10. So Grenadians here and those listening, we're looking for a 10 out of 10, and I know we could do it. Our people are very friendly. Our shore excursions are good, but I will tell you what they have asked us to do in our shore excursions. Our tour guides are well trained and so on, and we looking at, and they like the new tours, but they had some advices to give to us on that. One of the little disappointments was uncleanliness. And they said that our performance has dropped to 8.2. 8.2 out of 10 is not exceedingly bad, but it leaves a big gap in terms of satisfaction. And I know we have the means to keep our country clean. We've done a lot in terms of the Pure Grenada brand, getting the styrofoam, the plastic bags, and so on. And I don't know, but still, in little pockets, little areas, you do see indiscriminate dumping where it shouldn't be. So, first of all, it is a message for us, for our own health. That is of paramount importance. But the thing is, if we make it good for ourselves, then we make it good for our visitors. So it is a win-win situation. And it was one of the cruise lines that mentioned that, but it just takes one. It just takes one message out there about Grenada not being environmentally friendly and whatever have you, one little photo somewhere, and you know, it does a lot of damage. But generally we get very good reviews, don't get me wrong, in terms of the cleanliness, but it means that we still have to step up to the plate. We have been having discussions about, with Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines, about onboard employment. While we do get some, we know that all islands get more, so we look at them and we say, well, why can't we get more? So this time we were able to take a draft legislation, because there are terms and conditions. We worked very aggressively with the Ministry of Legal Affairs, and we have looked at a draft legislation that would govern the work of and the performance of our workers, as well as the responsibilities of the employers. So they're looking at it, and we hope we get some good response, because we thought we needed to look at how we protect our people in the first instance. So it might take a little while to get things done, but this is one of the key things that we're looking at, getting employment for our people. We need to look at packaging our tours. So it might be the same tour. So when we had the Wester Hall, we had the Clark's Court, we had the rivers and whatever there. But when we packaged it as a tour, it meant something different. When we packaged it, the chocolate tours, it takes on a different aspect to somebody going one place and somebody going to the other. And one of the lessons we took is the story. We have to be good storytellers, and we're good at that. Let us use it in a more positive sense. What happened with River and Twine rum? Why is it so special? What makes the different ones special? And we talk about all of the different rums that we have, and I think they're all into the package. But they need to have a story. People are past the stage where they just lie on a beach and don't want to hear the story. So even in Granan's Beach, the end where the fishermen pull the nets, there's a story there, how we live. And the good thing about it is they look at our cultural things. So we don't have to build anything special for them. We just have to package it in such a way and to identify it and build a story around it. So we're hoping we can get more storytellers. This is pretty much... We also talked about the cruise lines are embarking very aggressively on PPPs in different islands. So we broached that with them. What can you do in Grenada? Invest in some kind of attraction that is different to what we have or different to what the other islands have. And we did get some commitment for follow-up talks on that matter. I just want to mention briefly Carriacou, and mindful of the time. We spoke to Holland America Group, and they have committed already to having 10 calls to Carriacou in 2020 to 2021. So that is just on the other side of this year. There are some things that they're asking for. As a matter of fact, we're beating the iron while it's hot. They have to send us the scheduling. So while they haven't sent us the schedule yet, we have to ensure that we get a schedule. So tomorrow we go up to Carriacou. We need to talk to some of the stakeholders. There are issues that we think we need to raise with them, which I will not raise here. I think we need to raise it directly with the interested parties in Carriacou. So tomorrow evening we have a meeting with key stakeholders. We're opening a welcome center in Petit Martinique, which they didn't have. And also we're recognizing some of the people, at least we're handing out the awards to the persons whose CTO had. I spoke about it in the last press conference. We're going to be doing that. So the calls that are expected in Carriacou are from the Seaborn brand, and that is very high-end. So small numbers, but high-end. But again, they want to mix with the locals, so they'll be dancing to the big drum. We'll teach them how to do that, how to roll the rice. These are the sorts of things that people are looking for, and luckily we have quite a bit of that. I just want to finally say, Madam Persec, don't get nervous, I'm ending. 2 things. Next week, God's willing, we go to World Travel Market in London, where we'll be meeting with the airlines, British Airways, Virgin. You know, there have been some upheavals here and there. And we want to ensure that we continue with our flights, and there is potential for growth. And we'll be meeting with many tour operators. Again, we'll be marketing. So I hope, well, now it's late to ask for the sample bottles. But if there are a few that you want us to take, we'll take it. And for the next time around, because we're pretty much winding down in terms of trips for the year, but for the next time, I hope our table looks much better. And last week, we had a team of Jamaicans here, the top people in the community development department. They were looking at our product, and they're advising how we can beef up what they do there, because they do a great job. And I just want to mention that our Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, he has always advocated that we should commercialize some of our sites, because somehow either a PPP, a public-private partnership, so that means a private investor with, and when I say investor, I'm not talking necessarily of somebody from outside. I think Grenadians can do that easily, can work with government to do something, but it seems as though the private sector does it better, and all of the sites in Jamaica are commercialized. And maybe that's part of the reason they do so very well and they get exceeding numbers. So there's a commitment from the Ministry of Tourism to work with us, and we'll seriously be pursuing some of the ideas that they have, some of the things that have worked with them to make our tourism more resilient, more vibrant, and so on, et cetera, et cetera. So I thank you. These are the general pieces I had to mention.
Thank you very much, Minister, for those updates as it relates to our tourism industry. Members of the media, any questions from you? As usual, please identify yourself and your media house.
Morning, Linda Straker, freelance reporter. Minister, you spoke a lot about the tourism, and you ended with the possible commercialization of some sites. As we know, we're in the early days of the 2019-2020 cruise ship season. Can you provide an update as to the amount of tourist attractions or site that has been either refurbished or new sites identified?
Okay, well, just off my head, in the past year, we did expend quite a bit of money in doing the trails at Grand Tang, because it has emerged, but a growing demand for more physical activities like trails or things like river rafting and so. We've done quite a bit on that. In Mongazo, which is owned by government, that one has been contracted out to a local, a Grenadian person to manage, and I understand when the Jamaicans visited it, they were very, very pleased, and it's something that they're encouraging that we fast track and we move with it. Annandale is close to commercialization, and I say commercialization and not privatization. It means that it will be leased to somebody or an entity that is going to run it, but it belongs to the nation, to the people. I just wanted to clarify that. So that is one that we have not done much work with, because we have a serious proposal that has been accepted. It was subjected to all of the processes for contracting out that the commercialization. We did the request for proposals and so on, and we got 2. And we did it again, and we still got the same 2. So we decided to go ahead with it, but they were very good proposals, and one has been selected. We've done some work at Bathway, infrastructural works at Bathway, and certainly about 2 weeks ago, it's not infrastructure, but it's an important addition. 2 weeks ago, we handed over ATV, what is ATV again? It's a vehicle that can go on any terrain. I think that's what it is, any terrain vehicle, all terrain vehicles, that's what it is, for Grandans, because we all know the length of the beach. And if something occurs in one end and the police is at the other end, we know that a lot could happen before the police gets there. So the Ministry of Tourism, we saw it fit, working with the private sector, to purchase that vehicle so that the police and the task force that is there can get to a site very quickly. And the other thing that we're hoping to do very, very soon is to also contract out the service for the lifeguards at Grandans and Bathway as well.
Was anything done to the Graniton Great House?
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding. A lot of refurbishment was done, and there is a plan to reorganize the offerings there. And, sorry, that visit from the Jamaicans also reinforced that you need to have people activity, not just to stand up and watch Granitang Lake, but bring something to life. We're good with the jab, and we sold the jab, and we sold the shortening. You know, we must sell the shortening too. And, you know, you don't have to wait for Carnival. You could do these things. There's a number of things that you can do that tourists like. I mean, I haven't shared a photo of me in a Chinese outfit, and I probably never will. But I have a photo. When you do your tour, they have the garment. There's a story behind the garment, and you're allowed to put on that garment, put on the hat. They make you up, and they take your photo. And people love that, the photo opportunities. So there are very simple things that we're looking for starting this season, maybe the mid-season, and certainly we're going to explore more for 2020 season.
Good morning, Sherry and Noel, GIS. Minister, I just want to go back, just a little clarification on the commercialization of the attraction sites. You mentioned a bit about Annandale, but we do know that that's one of the falls that is frequent by community members and so on. Would there be like a public forum advising them as to what's going to take place and
how it's going to be run?
Affect them?
Yes, yes, that is going to be done. What is holding us up is the survey. That is where we are now, getting the amount of property surveyed. And we always include forestry, because recognizing that it's if not fully rainforest, but it's close to that, and our environment has to be maintained. So anybody who gets that, if you have to cut a branch, you must consult with forestry before you do anything. But of course, the public, and that is what I like about Grenada's tourism. Our public, our Grenadians love the attractions just as much as visitors. And we are going to ensure that that aspect is maintained.
Any further questions for the Tourism Minister before we wrap up?
I have one more. Minister, can you just provide, I think the airport would have celebrated 35 years yesterday. They had an award ceremony. Are you in a position to give an idea as to the amount of passengers that has been received since it was opened? And an update on the expansion project that has to be funded by the Chinese?
My answer to both is no. I can't give you those numbers. I get these numbers, but unfortunately, it doesn't stay in my head. But the airport is very good at that. Between airport, the team at the airport, when they look at the projected arrivals, and also they work with immigration. And so our figures are very reliable, and it's easy to get. But off my head, I can't give you that. In general terms, what we're going to do is looking at not a complete runway, but they call it like another finger, so that an airplane can rest there while another plane lands and take off. So it's not a brand new runway, but it is an additional area so that a plane can go. Once in a while, we are very busy. There are times when we have 2 American Airlines coming in, 2 JetBlues, one after the other, and then you have you might have Delta, and you might have, depending on the day, one of the flights from UK. So it can get very busy, and that has hindered us really from negotiating more flights because of that. So that is one of the things. We need to do some resurfacing and some upgrade of the facility in general. But and that is it. But we will be announcing exactly what is going to happen, because the final agreement has not been tied up yet. There's still we had a team of the contracting firm, which is China Harbor, and we also had a team of arbitrating technical persons, engineers and so on, who are working with both sides to finalize what has to happen and what it's going to cost. So soon that will be announced. And that is more dealt with by Ministry of Works, because, of course, it's an infrastructural issue. So maybe the minister might be announcing some things very soon.
Thank you very much, Minister of Tourism and Civil Aviation, Honorable Clarice Modest Cohen. Members of the media, thank you so much for your questions. So that brings us to the end of this first segment of this week's post-cabinet briefing. As I mentioned earlier, in the second segment, we'll have the Minister responsible for international business, Honorable Nicholas Steele. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
said, behold, your hand is not too short that it cannot reach down and touch my soul. Oh, I'm crying for so long, trying to be strong. Where are you now? I need you for so long. Everybody hurt me. Reach down and fill my empty soul. I need you.
Welcome back to the second edition of this week's post-cabinet press briefing. I am Press Secretary Philomena Robertson. I am joined now by the Minister for International Business, Honorable Nicholas Steele. And the subject of discussion now is Expo 2020. Also at the head table, we have one of Grenada's cultural ambassadors, Mr. Shandel Amede Dash. Minister Steele, tell us everything we need to know about Expo 2020.
Well, that is a tall order, but I'll do my best to give you as much information as possible. Today we want to officially launch what we refer to as On the Road to Dubai Expo 2020. I want to thank all of the artists, our contributors, our manufacturers, various representatives, and you members of the media who are here for this launching. Basically, it is to sensitize and to get in gear to us getting to Expo. Expo 2020 Dubai begins October 21st, 2020. And the other significant date for us, or the most significant date for us, is the Grenada Day. Grenada Day is January 15th, 2021. This expo is the first expo that is going to straddle a Christmas or holiday period as well, which presents for itself numerous opportunities and challenges. It is also the first expo that Grenada has its own pavilion. Our pavilion is approximately 2,200 square feet, already constructed. I saw it last month when we had a site inspection. We will continue to be monitoring the inspection of the site. The interior of the pavilion was designed through a competition here, designed by Grenadians, for Grenadians, we can say. One of our students who was studying in Morocco won the initial design, and TAMCC students as well won the secondary award. So the UAE government is outfitting that pavilion according to those design specs. We also have partnered with one of the restaurant providers in the pavilion this time, and they are going to be visiting Grenada, and they will be at that restaurant will be selling Grenadian product or a Grenadian menu. They are coming to Grenada to try as best as possible to use as much as possible of our local produce, but most definitely it will be our local recipes that will be used. We also engage members of the Hotel Association, Restaurant and Hotel Association, restaurateurs, through the Hotel Association, for them to volunteer to participate. So there's also an opportunity for a chef to travel to Dubai on Grenada Day to present, as well as an artist. There are also opportunities, so we are looking for volunteers, for individuals who would like to participate or work at the pavilion for the entire almost 5-month period of the expo, and also artists back and forth. There is also negotiated right now for members of the media. It's supposed to be one, but we are looking to see if we can get more than one member of the media to travel to Dubai as well. So we will let you know about that, but it keeps unfolding where more and more opportunities are presented to us, and we keep being grateful and asking for as much as possible so that this can be one of our, well, this already is our biggest expo in terms of size and level of participation. And we're looking for it to continue to grow from strength to strength even before it has started. So that is basically, in a nutshell, what we are launching, celebrating, sensitizing you to today. So any other questions or issues before we proceed with the rest of the ceremony?
Thank you very much, Minister. I can say to members of the listening public, and I would ask the GIS cameraman to just turn the camera onto the display table right here. It features a wide range of our locally produced goods, and there are also a number of paintings in the room. It's a pity the listening public cannot get a true sense. I hope GIS is able to pick up some of the images and show to the public some of the things that's made right here in Grenada and that we will have on Expo come 2020. So at this point, I will ask the cultural ambassador, before we go to questions from the media. The cultural ambassador has a specific duty here today. He is going to premiere a song that will be used to promo Expo 2020. He doesn't need any further introduction other than to say he's Dash. Dash, the floor is yours.
Good morning to everybody. The protocol already established. Good morning to all the representatives from the different media houses. Well, my job this morning is to do one simple thing, and it's to make my voice run through this building and run through this forum and uplift everybody, as Ms. Cox says she find everybody serious this morning. My job is this morning to just sing one simple song, and I really can't sit down and sing. It's really hard to do so. And it's a song everybody is well aware of and well known in the island, because we say Grenadians are gifted people, and we're not just saying that just so. We actually have evidence, and we have people to testify, and we see things happening. We have Kirani, we have Anderson Peters, we have Seth Vaughan, we have all the soca artists, we have a lot of other people representing the island. So I'm just here this morning to just give you all a verse and a chorus of a song you already know. I summon you now to play mass. Hear what we say. Don't come and grant us no favors. We money day and all on a holiday. We pumping like it's a normal day. If you can keep up, then stay back. Mas don't waiting on nobody. Set the stage alight as I reach the place, catch our vibes. Oh, Dubai, we alright. It's groovy, grooving all night. We feeling highly energized. Well, who bringing all that Every man is gifted in his own right, so sit down and make your hands them take. Because we gifted, yeah. They cannot we in a flame. Party people demonstrate, we come out to perform. Because we gifted, yeah. Somebody tell them for me, they can drain me energy, no day, no time at all. Once we are life in way, they can take that from we. Call the king of groovy, I got the remedy. Jump up in harmony, happy for all of them, best believe it. Motivation, all of us need it. He check, who can you will feel it. Rhythm up, imagine a life without music. How will you feel? Man, just like a fish out of water. How will you breathe? Once we feel the heartbeat, we have no choice but to flood the streets like a heavy downpour of rainfall. I hope Dubai ready for we set the stage alight as I reach the place, catch our vibes. Oh, song man, we alright. It's groovy, grooving all night. We feeling highly energized. Well, who bringing all our vibes? Every man is gifted in his own right, so sit down and make your hands them take. Because we gifted, yeah. And we ready to represent in Dubai 2020-2021, we're ready to go and give the world a taste of what Guinea has to offer. Musically, arts, it don't matter. We're representing 473 as a nation. We want to push it to the world. As I said, we have a country to build and a culture to spread. So that is my contribution this morning. Have a blessed morning, everybody.
I don't think I've ever heard this level of thunderous applause at a post-cabinet press briefing, and it's well deserving. I hope, as the artist said, that Dubai is ready, because we are indeed gifted, as exemplified by the talent he just displayed and by the other goods that are presently on display in the room this morning. And with that, we open the floor to questions from members of the media.
Morning all again. We look around and we see quite a number of goods on display, products. Based on the handout, we've seen here there are 15 manufacturers who have confirmed their participation. Can you share with us who are displaying and the category of produce?
You want me to name them ad lib for you, or I can provide that information? Most definitely, yes.
Okay.
I don't want to try and name ad lib in case I leave out anyone. Mm-hmm. But we do have 50 right now. We are looking to increase that number. There are some logistical challenges because you have to remember Dubai is one, it's an Islamic country, and two, it is a desert environment in terms of very hot. And our produce in general, or quite a lot of our produce is either alcohol or chocolate-based. Both of those are challenges that we are working around. We have found relatively acceptable solutions. That is one of the reasons why we also went and partnered with a restaurant provider there within the expo, because alcohol cannot be sold directly in the pavilions, but can be sold at the restaurants. So the fact that we have a Grenada restaurant there, while we're not managing it because we don't have those resources or so, it will be selling or can sell our alcoholic products there. At the pavilion, you, unlike other expos, you can't give out sample bottles. You can give sample tastes of alcohol or chocolates or so in the pavilion, in our pavilion, but you can't give out the small bottles. That can be done in terms of sale at the restaurant. So that's one of the reasons. But we're most grateful to all of the manufacturers. And yes, definitely we will share a list. And as we proceed in all of the press briefings and any other thing printed or so, those manufacturers' logos and so will be attached and included as we move forward.
Just to get some either clarification or added information, I know, like you did mention, it is a different type of country in terms of religion and so, but I'm also aware that there are standards in terms of production of goods. I know the outcome of every expo is really to expose for markets in that region. What level of education has been done to educate our producers with regard to the standards, whether it is from the labeling or how to produce the quality as they prepare to leave? That
was one of the first initiatives that we took. Even before the launch, we were meeting and discussing with some of the manufacturers that participated and letting them know that, well, they had asked as well. One of the key challenges previously in other expositions was that products were displayed, and then when potential buyers came and met or expressed interest, we then had to learn or figure out how to have the product exported to to that region. In this instance, we have done it the other way around, figured out how to export, what are the standards or license criteria, etc. So that's already done, that's in place, with our partnering with Expo Dubai as well as the UAE government on that. So we have those answers for all of our exporters here in Grenada, and as such, we have those answers for all of our potential customers that we would meet there in Dubai.
Besides the chocolate and the rum that has this limitation, are there other products that have other challenges?
No, in general, it will be products that have are susceptible to heat. Because remember, in the summer, it can get to 104 degrees Fahrenheit there, or even higher. And the fact that it's an Islamic country, so we need to respect their rules for public consumption of alcohol. But Dubai is one of the most open countries in the GCC. And it's a tourism destination, and they are most accommodating, but there are rules and regulations that have to be followed.
Christelina John, Grenada Broadcasting Network. My question to you, Minister, is in terms of local preparation, what was done with the persons who produce these products? What was the level of preparation done, or what is being done with them so that they meet up to the level of the standards?
It's a continued journey. The team, Shanta Cox and others, have been meeting with them, interacting, finding out their concerns, their issues, their challenges, and then we have been having those discussions. We've been acting as liaisons between them and the Expo organizing committee in Dubai, as well as wherever there may be potential customers, and so to try and create as many opportunities as possible and to make that process as seamless as possible. So most recently, there have been discussions, I know, with UAE or Dubai government with respect to the timing, deadlines, etc., to shipping items there, and the methods of shipping, and so we know exactly when, because it has to be done in advance, and the various clearances and documentation that must be done, the packaging, etc., that must be done. All of those things, all of those questions we have been asked, and we have the answers. But it's a constant journey, and one of the reasons for today's event as well is to sensitize everybody, including the very manufacturers and artists, and so that the clock is ticking. We're coming down to the wire. It is a year away, but as far as we're concerned, we're coming down to the wire in terms of some of those decisions, ramping up production where necessary, getting the proper packaging, getting the artists in particular, getting them focused on that so that they can, if they don't already have it, have art designed specifically with a theme in mind that works for Expo, giving everybody advance notice. I don't think there has been an Expo previously that has had this much advanced communication and interaction, and so with our public, potential participants as well. Going back to the competition with the schools for the design, etc. So there's been tremendous interaction, and that's why we look forward to this being one of our best expos possible.
Just to add, to answer your question, Christelina, in terms of preparation of the manufacturers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, just to add to your question, in terms of the preparation of the manufacturers, we working with the Bureau of Standards and the Ministry of Trade in terms of bringing the labels and the packaging up to standards. So it's only yesterday I spoke to the director of the Bureau of Standards, and they are on board in terms of working along with us to ensure that the manufacturers are up to the level of the GCC countries.
Next question. Just allow me, please. Based on the support for the producers of these products, would there be any support coming from the government's end in terms of getting the items to Dubai?
Yes, there is complete costs covered for getting the items to Dubai. All costs are covered.
Sherry and Noel, GIS. Minister, I just want to ask, the Expo 2020 is a big deal. In terms of our young producers, manufacturers, have any of them signed up already, or is there anything in place to ensure that they are young manufacturers, producers within the mix of who's going to go to Dubai 2020 Expo?
Well, last time I met with them, there were quite a lot of young individuals in the room, as to whether you mean new manufacturers or just young individuals involved in the manufacturing process. Both. We're looking for more as well, but there has been from the beginning a focus on youth or young individuals. That's why the competition for the design did not involve professional architects or so. It involved our young students. And only went as far as university students. It did not involve professional architects. So there is that focus, even in the theme of the Dubai Expo, which is connecting minds and creating futures. That's what we're sticking with as well. That's the whole idea here. It's to connect the various cultures, the minds, and to create a future from the opportunities created here.
Morning, Callistra Farrier. Great expedition we're about to embark on. Dubai is not on the beaten track, one may say. And coming out of any expo, one of the things we hope is that we can export, we can ship, we can have regular trade. Can you explain to me if there are any difficulties in terms of what happens if, both in capacity and in shipping lanes, what happens if someone orders 200,000 units of a Grenadian product? Do each of our manufacturers who will be displaying there and have the potential to attract orders, do they all have the capacity to meet such large orders that one would expect would come out of something like that, if orders come out of it? And can we ship? Cost is a very important matter in trade, and high costs would certainly prohibit trade in a particular way. So have we looked at that? Is it cost effective for us to trade, and do any of our manufacturers have the capacity to meet such large international orders?
Well, first off, let me correct you. Dubai is very much on the beaten track. It's the largest airport in the world with the highest amount of traffic.
Not to interrupt you, I was talking about shipping from down here in Grenada.
It's
yeah?
also the largest port in the world in terms of transshipments, etc. Shipping from here, as opposed to shipping anywhere else in the world, has its costs. It is going to be more efficient and effective to ship to Dubai than to ship to any of the other African countries or so. Most of our shipment goes through Miami, as we are aware. Those are the challenges we have. Most of our manufacturers do not have the capacity to be shipping in hundreds of thousands of pounds or so, but we're going to be there, and that's how manufacturers move from where they are to the 100,000 pounds or so, is to create the opportunities. And the obligation of a government is to make sure that those opportunities are created wherever possible. So we have made sure that 2,200 square feet is available to display Grenada. Within that 2,200 square feet, there will be an opportunity for Grenadian manufacturers to have their products on display and purchased there, and to negotiate wherever possible with potential buyers. Every expo has potential buyers there. So that's the opportunity. Now, in this instance, compared to other expos, we have gone as a Carriacou pavilion. We've had less than 2,200 square feet to share with all of our Carriacou countries. This year, 2021, we will have 2,200 square feet dedicated purely to Grenada. Now, it's not dedicated only to Grenadian products. It is dedicated to Grenada. We are going to sell a Grenada story to the world there. Part of that Grenada story is what Grenada has to offer on sale, our produce. The other part of that Grenada story is who we are, our culture, and where we believe we are going, our future. So that is all of what Expo is. and has to offer. So it's not just about the manufacturers. Today, we are proudly displaying, as we will for the entire period of Expo, our manufacturers and our artists. It is about Grenada. It is about putting Grenada on the map wherever the opportunity occurs. And in this case, it is, as I said, we have a bigger pavilion than ever before. So we have a greater opportunity than ever before. I do hope that coming out of this, if the one complaint is that the orders were too big, then it would be most definitely one that I would be willing to accept criticism for. Thank you.
Questions are not always, most times not intended to be criticism. It's
No,
just
it wasn't.
trying to get information. Can you tell me the entire cost of this to Grenada? You said we're paying for our manufacturers or participants
No,
to get there?
I said that manufacturers, their products are getting there fully supported. We are receiving support, as most of the other developing countries are, from the UAE government on this to guarantee our participation. That is one of the things that we negotiate up front. For most expos is that we have challenges in participating and getting our products there, so we seek to get as much support as possible. So that is why in this instance, we have negotiated to get 2,200 square feet covered for us, already built, to have our products shipped to the UAE and into Dubai, to have customs clearance arranged, to have housing for our basic team that has to be there covered, to have airfare covered, to have airfare and housing for our artists covered, to have our restaurant covered, to have the produce that will be shipped there, however much that we can, covered as well. So we've negotiated all of this this time around to make sure that this is, while it's the biggest event for them, that it becomes the biggest expo for us as well, within the challenges that we have.
Okay, so am I to understand that Grenada does not have to put any money at all into getting us into this 200?
We are going to be putting money probably to get additional people there. But basically, our
But do we have a
presence-
budget? Do we have a costing on what
We always have a
pay
budget.
for?
Our manufacturers are going to have to be participating. They are going to have to be giving samples as well. The government does have a budget. Yes, we do have a budget as well. But in this instance, where before our budget would just have gotten us there with one person in the room, this time we have all of this covered. So we still have our same budget, but we're able to do so much more with it. Our budget for expos is usually about $25,000 to $50,000. That would get you there, full stop. Everything
this is
else
what we-
normally has always been covered by the hosting nation for expos. Always has been covered by the hosting nations. It's the same with most international events also. The hosting nation will cover as much as possible. So this year, I think that the focus is that we have negotiated as much as possible, more than ever before, for everyone involved in it.
And
Thank you very much, Ms. Faria, for your questions. Let's allow another representative of the media to ask our questions. Please, do we have any further questions from members of the media? Okay, at this point, I would like to ask one of the manufacturers to come forward to share with us her thoughts on what this expo will offer for her as a manufacturer. Ms. Tamara Prosper Wells. Ms. Noel of GIS, do you mind yielding your seat to Ms. Tamara Prosper so that she can use the microphone? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tamara Prosper, and I speak in the capacity of a Grenadian manufacturer, a proud Grenadian manufacturer, and also the owner behind the brand Brand by Tamara. I think that I am correct to say that as a representative of the small business manufacturing sector, we are indeed proud, we are indeed elated for the opportunity to add to the Grenadian product, because it's not only what we offer, but it's what Grenada offers. In our capacities, we share a virtual space, so from the energies of the other manufacturers, we are in our own spaces trying to maximize on our capacities, produce the best quality of produce that we can, so that our offerings can exceed the expectations of the buyers, of the visitors to the pavilions, etc. We would also like to thank and commend the minister and his team. They have invested in us in terms of having workshops to upgrade, show the benefits of upgrading our packaging, our labeling, etc. And there is continuous dialogue and sharing of information. So from our stance, in our capacity, we are indeed grateful. We put out our best and hope that everything works out, because, of course, small business helps to drive the economy. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Well said. I think she did a good job, manufacturers. Do you agree, or would anyone else like to add a couple comments to what was stated here? Do we have anyone else who would like to volunteer? No? We're all shy. We let the products speak for themselves. Okay. We are at the point in this morning's postcard. Lots of different things happening here this morning, Minister. We're at the point where we have a presentation for the Minister of International Business, and that presentation will be given by Ms. Deborah Mason. Minister, I am told that it is your gift, and that the message is, go sell us on the road to Dubai.
My marching orders.
Exactly. So Ms. Mason comes forward with the presentation for the Minister for International Business, Honorable Nicholas Steele. Okay, I think it's a very huge basket of goods here. She's making her way forward to make the presentation.
Well, I want to thank the manufacturers for this very heavy, small token of the so much that we have to offer. And we'll endeavor to see if we can get this packaged and over there before the end of the year, quite possibly as a Christmas present from you to Expo 2020 group. Because we do have a delegation quite possibly going to Dubai before Christmas for what's called the IPM meetings, the international planning meetings, which is where they go and inspect the sites on a regular basis just to make sure of the progress, etc., and deal with some of the various issues. So we'll probably take this or have them take this with them and present it to the Expo Dubai local team as well. So thank you very much.
Minister, I understand that there is one more presentation of a book. Who is making that presentation? Literary works are also part of Expo 2020, hence the presentation of this book here to the Minister.
Mr. Grenada has a lot of authors, and this one called The Red Door, I'm presenting to you on behalf of Rita Joseph Olivetti. She writes using the name Rita Leone. I am David Ambrose, also one of Grenada's authors, and we have a representation of our books, which we hope will go to Dubai as well. So on behalf of Rita, I present this to you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think that will be all for the presentations this morning. Before we wrap up, I'll just allow Ms. Shanta Cox to speak about the organizing committee for this very significant event, Expo 2020.
Okay, good morning again. As we are aware, we're promoting products, but we're also promoting our tourism industry, our CBI industry, our investment portfolios. So the committee is made up of Ms. Kisha Mitchell from the GIDC. We have Ms. Brenda Batiste as a media representative. We have the representative from TAMCC who has been with us from the beginning, Ms. Ayana Williams. Thank you very much, Ms. Williams. We also have Ms. Deborah Mason and Ms. Tamara Prosper. They represent the manufacturing sector. We have on board people who have not here today. For instance, we have the Ministry of Culture. We have them on board also. And we have the Ministry of Trade on board. Okay, so these are and yes, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs, sorry, yes. So we also have Ms. Pettifer Lewis-Smith from the Chamber of Commerce. So we have a wide cross-section of people helping us on the road to Dubai. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cox. A huge undertaking that requires a collaborative effort, and she would have just indicated the widespread representation we have on that committee that is making preparations for Expo 2020. Now that brings us to the end of this morning's post-cabinet press briefing. Dash does not expect this, but I'll ask him to give us one more verse as we bring the curtains down. As an artist, you should always be prepared, right? So just hit us one more verse as we put a wrap on things.
Any specific song or the same song?
The same song, one more verse. Just let Dubai know that we're coming.
I just try to stay safe because I'm constantly singing and dancing. This one I have to just, so I'll start. Imagine a life without music. How will you feel? Man, just like a fish out of water. How will you breathe once we feel the heartbeat? We have no choice but to flood the streets like a heavy downpour of rainfall with momentum. Look out for we. Set the stage alight as I reach the place, catch a vibes. Oi, Dubai, alright. It's groovy, grooving all night. We feeling, oi. Well, who bringing all the vibes? Every man is gifted in his own right. Sit down and make them fly because we gifted, yeah. Cannot we in a flame? Party people demonstrate. We come out to perform. Grenadians gifted. Yeah, somebody tell them for me. They can't drain we energy, no. Say once we are life in way. They can't take that from way. Call the king of groovy. I got the remedy. Jump up in harmony. Happy for all of them. Best believe it. Motivation, all of us need it. Heat check. Who can you will feel it? And Dubai is hot, so who can you will surely feel it? And we're going to represent, all right? Bless you. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dash. What a way to bring the curtains down on this week's post-cabinet press briefing. On the road to Dubai, Expo 2020. I am Press Secretary Philomena Robertson. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you again next time.